Hi, this is Eddie Muller, welcoming you back to TCM's series of neo-noir. I am joined by Ben Mankiewicz, my co-host for this series here on the Noir Alley set. How you doing, Ben?
I'm well, Eddie. Thanks for having me here. This has been fun.
It has been fun. And tonight, forget neo-noir.
Yeah.
We're going for future noir. We're starting off with future noir. And people said, you're going to program this. You're going to show movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s. And I say, I'm showing a movie from 2019, which is the year in which Blade Runner is set.
Right.
It was Philip K. Dick who wrote this story in 1966, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, about society manufacturing replicants of humans in order to do all the jobs that humans don't want to do. Right. So there is a timeliness to this movie today. But the conceit of the film is the whole thing is told in the form of a detective story with Deckard, who's a Blade Runner, usually ex-cops, I guess, who are hired to hunt down the replicants that go rogue.
Yeah.
So that is the basic premise of this movie. This movie basically takes every cliche and trope of detective fiction and film noir and says, what would it look like that many years into the future?
And that's why it's not so much using it pejoratively of cliche and trope, because they are reimagining these things in the 21st century, which to them was, 40 years later.
Yeah. Sid Mead's production visualization for this film is absolutely extraordinary. All science fiction movies depicted the future as clean. And in this movie, Sid Mead said, they're just going to build the future on top of the present. That's how it's going to work. There's no way around it. So that's why this movie visually is so amazing. And why I think a lot of people consider this to be a classic is because it is a classic of production design. As is so often the case with these movies, it's the star that got the movie made, right? Because at the time this film was made, it's 1981. Harrison Ford was maybe the biggest star in Hollywood at this moment, right? He had done Star Wars, he had done Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's like, how can we go wrong? So when Ridley Scott came aboard to direct this, who has an incredible visual sense.
Yeah, one of the best.
One of the best. And I think it really appealed to him to depict this world. And the critics were not kind to this movie when it came out. It was like a big so what, which is kind of startling.
Yeah, science fiction fans have certainly helped preserve its legacy. And it gets back to the thing I was talking about earlier, that idea. That idea is so good, Philip K. Dick's idea, and then Ridley Scott imagining that and putting it on screen. This is 2 years after he makes Aliens, so he becomes this guy. This guy knows how to do a science fiction movie that matters. And it's not really a complaint, but what I want more every time I see this is more of who I think is the most interesting character in the movie, and I think you do too. More of the idea of consciousness and what it means, right? And that's the villain.
That's Roy Batty, played by Rutger Hauer, who is the villain of the piece.
Yeah.
But to me, he's also the most interesting character in the film. And also, for fans of old noir, they make brilliant use of the Bradbury building in downtown LA, which is kind of startling because it's derelict in the movie, but it's still there.
Yeah.
It still is in good condition. Right. They have preserved it, but man, they trash it in this movie. And you'll know when you get to the Bradbury building because you've seen it in a bunch of noir films from, DOA and Joseph Losey's M. It's all the wrought iron and the filigree. There's no building like it anywhere else. And it has the atrium skylight, which is used to great effect in this film.
And we like to say what we'd be remiss, as always, if we didn't mention Emmett Walsh.
Emmett Walsh, again, popping up in a film.
Yeah, Blood Simple is in our lineup this month, and he's in that, and here he is. Very different characters here. This is not first of all, you don't think of Emmett Walsh in a
science fiction
movie, but he's good in any movie.
So if you haven't seen it, prepare yourself. This is quite an extraordinary trip into the brave new world of 2019. Here is Harrison Ford starring in Blade Runner.